Hey y'all, Vinny OG here. I have been pumping these out because I do not plan on making money on YouTube, and Loom is free for 14 days. So I want to get as many of these face to faces done before I just go back to recording on the screen here and talking over it. Um, However, I am really excited. This is the one I've kind of been excited and dreading to do. Um, this is difficult because I do not eat thousands of pounds of krill a day. Thus, I am not a whale, and I do not have all of these, let alone all of them, up to level 6, let alone level 9. So much of this is going to be subjective to where I have a much better grasp on our legendaries and epics and how they fit into the role. Um, Largely, the level 7s and above that I have faced, it's all just based off of anecdotal experience of how I've seen this happen. However, I've got a pretty good grasp on most of these. And so I will try and stay away from things I have not played and things that are not out. So there's a few of them that I'll stay away from, but I should be able to cover mostly everything. I might have to double check if you see me looking down. I've got my phone here. Don't want to drag this on too long. Let's get started with the hottest of hot garbage. Everybody's favorite fail, F for Fury Cannoneer. Just trash, and just trash. Hit points are trash. Range is trash. Damage output is trash. Skill is trash. It sucks because it was one of the first mythicals I got to level 6. I'm like, wow, I did not feel rewarded for this at all, considering how hard it is to get mythicals to level 6. So that was disappointing. But ultimately, we move on and let's get another one of kind of the basic mythicals out of the way. And yeah, Griffin Knight is interesting because I feel the devs think that their that the power or the ability is really good, which it isn't, even at level 6. So they put it with less hit points and less damage output. So it's supposed to be a tank, but not really. I'm sticking with PvP. I will reference some PvE related things to these units, but for the most part, you're still, if you get a level 6 Griffin, uh, you're gonna you're gonna put it in your lineup unless you really, again, eat a lot of krill and are in like the North Atlantic region, or do do whales live in the Atlantic, or are they more Pacific? I don't know. Do B, probably low B tier. God, I might put it in C tier. You might see me play around with this one here, but that's where that sticks, or in that approximate area. So let's go to Geomancer. I have such a love-hate relationship with Geomancer because for the longest time, like, it's such an, if you're already winning and Geomancer's proc goes off, it's like, oh, congratulations. I was already going to win. The proc goes off. I just win by a little bit more. However, as I got to level 6 with this unit and I realized how the damage coefficient works with it, and thinking about, like, it might be my first legitimate mythical troop that I can push to 7. If it has enough hit points to guarantee, almost guarantee, kind of surviving that 16 seconds it takes to get the spell out, the 480% that it hits with, granted, sometimes it can hit one unit on the left, but if it hits dead center with a 480% damage coefficient in a large area, it can be good. Like, it could be good. And I probably won't reference level 9 with any of these other units, but the fact that this can get to 12 seconds, if by some miracle of God, like the hundreds of dollars you'd have to spend to get, a level 9 Geomancer, but getting this down to 12 seconds is pretty freaking good. Um, I think I'm going to put this firmly at top of the C tier because I still think it fits in a lot of just about any PvP build for the most part. It's just kind of a wild card. Um, but yeah, I used to probably keep it here. I'd say it's probably I'm falling in love with it. Maybe it's Stockhomey, but I like it. Let's go. All right, Night King. It has to be an A tier simply because it is just a beefcake. It has a fair enough amount of damage output, and to be honest, I don't even remember what its level 6 is. What is its level 6 here? Each attack has a chance to deal higher damage to the target. So a little bit more damage. Nothing too crazy. 15. Oh no, 300% damage coefficient. So actually can still hit a little hard. And has the tankiness and actually hits at level 6, what, 830 per hit with high defense and 54,000 hit points. You're running it. You're running it in literally every single lineup, PvE or PvP, that you have. So I don't know how something you would run in everything drops below an A tier for me. Going to Frost Queen, I think anybody who's played against this or and doesn't have it knows how just dang good this unit is. Probably, I mean, it runs in every split formation. If you have a backstab formation, it runs in that. Hell, if you run dash, it's in your front line or second row. This fits in everything. It is, maybe, yeah, and still pretty well in PvE outside of some of the single target things. So very easy. S tier for PvP. If you don't have it, get it or wait to just save up and try and get 2 of them. You'll at least want, you'll at least want 1 level 4. If you can get 2 level 4s or level 5 and a 4, or hell, if you again eat a whole lot of krill, then get 2 6s. And that effect lingers longer. So not only a great level 6 effect, but really just great overall. It procs, it's done with its job, it can go and die. The only drawback is if you're jumping over, you get stunned, and the proc doesn't go off. You've really wasted a lot. But that's pretty rare, especially when you build it up a little higher and it has more HP. So, Storm Maiden. I like Storm Maiden. I think the ability is Calvin, could you turn that down, please, bud? Thanks, bud. I think the Storm Maiden has a decent level 6 ability. It's nothing that stands out, but allows it to do a little bit extra damage. Ultimately, where Storm Maiden excels is the large area kind of suck into one spot. It's hard to plan around where she'll pull people in, so it's not like you can make a build that says, all right, it's going to suck in here, and then these people have, or the AoE effect here. It's random. It's more just disruptive, but it's such a large scale disruptive with a lot of upside that it works pretty well. And sometimes, you can get a couple of procs off with it. I think it falls. I think if I'm going to put it, if I'm putting Griffin in B tier, this has to be ahead of Griffin for me. So I'm probably putting it somewhere in the B tier here. Starlight Apostle, one of those units. There's a lot of speed-based buffs, but there's not a lot of damage-based buffs. So Storm Apostle, if you're the level 6 ability for me isn't super great because it's so reliant on you having two of them proccing at the same time. It's almost kind of nullified. And I don't know too many. I don't see too many lineups running two of them. And I don't know if that's just because they're hard to get or because there's better units to have. But Storm Apostle definitely for me, one of those kind of core pieces that runs in just about everything and does something that not too many units are able to do. So I am going to jump a little ahead of the list here because, oh, where the hell are you? Am I going blind here? Do I not? There we are. There we are. There we are. All right, Melody Weaver. It's either 1A or 1B. I'm going Melody Weaver just ahead of Starlight Apostle for the simple fact that at level 6, the passive is just better than what you get out of Starlight Apostle. They both do the same thing. I mean, they're basically like Tide Lord and Blaze King, but not dragons and a little weaker. So, yeah, 1A, 1B for me. Again, people can make the argument one way or another. Oh, well, damage is more valuable. Oh, speed's more valuable. There's more speed related units, so I'd rather have the Apostle out there. Make the argument, but I think both firmly belong in the A tier as they're running in most core builds. Again, PvP or PvE. Let's see. Next up, God, such a good unit. Nine-Tail Fox is either going to be the top of the A tier or hold up the back of S tier. For now, I'll probably just put it at the top of the A tier. I might change my mind here. But if we're looking at, so yeah, each attack grants a small attack bonus to self. Really good. But also the damage output as a whole is great. I think the only thing it really lacks in is hit points. So it can be a little squishy. Yeah, that's probably why it would stay in A, is it just can be a little bit of a squish ball. So it does have what to make up for it. You put it in the back, really large attack radius, so it's still probably going to live to the end anyway, but probably just for the fact that it's lower HP, probably top of A tier. All right, here's one. I'm so upset. I do not even have one of these, but I know them well enough because they have wrecked me so many times. Mist Archer, boom. Easy S tier. I'm not sure because this is my naivete because I haven't tinkered with it. I'll put it behind Frost Queen simply because I see way more Frost Queens. Hey, honey.
It's 10 o'clock. Coming to bed.
Okay. Boom. See that? That's the type of candid stuff you don't get from other YouTubers who edit their videos. All right, let me get back in my mindset here. Sorry. Mist Archer wrecks me. I don't have one. I can't go into too much detail here other than I know the people who don't have them, want them, and the people who have them I always seem to get wrecked by. I'll leave that there. That's probably the only unit that I will rank that I do not have. But I don't think there's going to be any arguments other than where on the S that this fits. Speaking of other S tiers, not only from a PvP but a PvE perspective, the Jungle Ranger falls right into. Oof. God, I would say, God, it's one of those basic units that is still so good, but does it deserve a spot in the S? I would say it does because of how versatile it is. You know, high HP units, just such a good freaking troop. Maybe here's what I'll do. I'll compromise. This is bottom S tier. I think we can agree with bottom S tier or high A tier. I'm going to leave that there because it's such a versatile troop between PvE and PvP. Again, it fits in every single lineup that it goes there. Um, I think the only issue with Flame Duelist is that it is weak to water, so it can be susceptible to, builds that run Tide Lord, Poison, other water related units, but ultimately, really high end damage output, good defense, good hit points. Probably falls. Maybe I do that for now. Just like kind of the same way I have the two tanks where you're just running them in just about everything. If you have a level 6 Flame Duelist or a level 6 um, Night King, you're running it the same as you're having a level 6 here. Ooh, I might do something risky here. Boop. Come on. Come on, tier list. Nope, it won't let me. Okay, maybe I have this right then, because it's not letting me do it. Um, I'm a little nervous about this A tier, but all of these are running in any core lineup. All of these S tiers you wish you had and do crazy amounts of damage. So I'm fine right now with that. We haven't filled out our D tier at all, as I would rather be running a Geomancer in every build than I would a Venospore in every build. I think Venospore does have its uses, but its level 6 ability isn't impressive to me. What I like about it is that it can flash. So in combination, I think there's a I think there's a build that you can crack to where you'll have like Ghost Assassins and when this guy comes out, the Night Scions. So like you'll have Night Scions, you'll have Ghost Assassins, Venospore, and you can also then have like a backstab, but that takes specific requirements and very specific builds. So it's either fitting in at the very back of the C tier or it's holding up the front of the D tier for me. For me, I just don't find value in running this. Although I do see people with builds that work with it. So again, the mythic the mythic tier list is difficult to roll with because I think there's a lot of objectivity here. But that's kind of where I fall with it. Next up is Tide Lord. You get the Fire and Ice group here, and I will put Tide Lord firmly. We're just going to do this because we're going to argue about it. God damn it. Why is this just not doing its thing? There we go. Okay. So, Tide Lord for me beats out Blaze King, even though Blaze King has a better level 6 ability. The straight up damage output Tide Lord gets and the guarantee that it's hitting valued mage targets, I think to me is really good. And not to say that its level 6 ability is bad either. There's just a lot of stack, you know, Oracle, um, Weaver, Tide Lord, a lot of speed buff things. So where Blaze King excels is it's basically a much better Starlight Apostle, and there's not very many damage related buffs. So I take Blaze King from damage, but its normal ability isn't necessarily that great because its damage output isn't that great. There's definitely moments where it shines if you have a large amount of weakness to fire units, but I'm just sticking with Tide Lord in this. It just better damage, uh, a more reliable skill, and still a hell of a good level 6 ability. Uh, Either way, whichever one you take at level 6 is a very strong unit to have. Birdman, no idea. I don't even know what Birdman does. Um, Ripple Wizard definitely runs in some builds, but I think he's more of a PvE, more of a PvE. So I'm rating him as I would a PvP, which is going to be behind our Geomancer. Really, the only time you're running Ripple Wizard is so that you can proc off your Melody Weaver and Starlight Apostle or your healers faster, and then it can just go ahead and die. Its level 6 ability isn't super great, and ultimately just kind of a forgettable unit. Man, I feel like I'm just loading this S tier. I might have to rearrange a few things here because Radiant Warrior, if Radiant Warrior doesn't get an S tier spot, I don't know what does. Radiant Warrior is, especially when it first came out, was kind of one of those, hey, this can help counter one of the strongest units in the game by at least helping absorb some of that damage. Its level 6 ability is absolutely wild, as it's a passive that also, as long as it's alive, can absorb elemental damage. It helps absorb physical damage with its right beginning of the game ability. And it also acts as a heck of a damage sponge, too. So it just does kind of everything and is a very effective unit. Really, really great just to have in, again, anything, PvP or PvE. You're probably running Radiant Warrior in it in some way, shape, or form. Here's an interesting one. I think this is a little bit of a divisive character because the skill is, if the skill hits correctly and in the niche area, it can either win you a game or I feel like it can just be totally worthless. So I'm probably putting this right at the top of B tier for me because I don't think that, like, it can be a forgettable thing. And even though you're probably running Griffin in just about everything, but that's because you just need damage sponge. Dark Moon, I think you can make an argument can run in everything, but it's, when I see it, I'm not like crapping my pants. It's not something that I see as like, oh my god, when I see a backline of two mist archers, I'm like, God, this is gonna suck, right? Or if I see two level 5 frost queens right in the front, like, or two, yeah, it just, there's scarier things than a Dark Moon Queen. You can work around it. So I'll put it at the B tier. I think very, again, very applicable, very good, but it's not like an A tier where it's running in everything, or an S tier where you're just like, oh Lord, this is such a good unit that you just have to have it. Speaking of which, I do not have Firepower Vanguard. I have some opinions on it. I'm just going to leave it at that because I haven't played around with it. I've seen some weird niche uses for it. Oh, well, I've got two of these and you can assassinate such and such. Don't care. Not going to play with it. Probably not even really going to try and chase it, to be honest with you. Take that as you will. Woodland Guardian just came out. I saw so much hate on this unit when it first came out, and I think that's largely because everybody was using it in PvP. I think in PvE, it is an extremely, can be an extremely valuable unit. I don't think people have cracked the code yet on this one. But in PvP, I would say right now this is probably somewhere like probably like right there. Again, just PvP oriented. If I was going PvE, probably higher up there. Maybe if you get a really big boy, maybe in that B to high C tier area. This unit, I think Night Scion isn't out yet. I will give a quick thought on this one. It looks absolutely broken. I think this is going to be the next hot ticket item that is going to be like a Frost Queen where it just runs in everything. I'm going to leave it at that for now because each one of these units, and I don't have Barbarian, and I don't see Goddess of War run in anything, and I don't have Goddess of War. So I'll kind of finish my thoughts here on Night Scion. Yeah, and I see Seraph in Daily Gisses too. Doesn't Again, this is personal opinion. I could be totally wrong here because I haven't experimented with it. Seems forgettable. But Night Scion to me looks like it is going to be a very high A to S tier. Not only looks tanky, flashes to low mage units. Every kill basically heals it. It will just decimate a backline. So you're going to have to counter it. And that's where I think you'll start to see Dark Moon Queen potentially come in to play a lot more to counter a Night Scion, and then that's maybe where Dark Moon Queen becomes a lot better in the same way Radiant Warrior does really well to help counter Frost Queen. But I'd say for now, that's probably, and oh my god, this is 26 minutes long with a little candid interruption there, so I am not going to push this to the 27-minute mark. It's already too long. There's no way in hell anybody made it this far anyway. So on that kind of perfect little bloop, 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 right up there. And I hope you enjoyed this long ass video, and thanks.